then you fall back onto what I call the fruit of life, you know, which is what? The fruit of life is the deliciousness that is already there inside you once the belief systems goes away. And by the way, when the belief system goes away, then of course there's this wound that you have to deal with, and when you shine the light on that, distortion goes away. Done. Now your belief system usually turns into, I don't know, sometimes it may turn to skill, um, but there's no these thoughts running that stem from the pain. You know, they're gone. They're not there anymore. So the entire field of psychology and psychoanalysis, you can replace it with just turning onto yourself, you know. And yeah, and every single person can do that. Now, of course, let me be clear about this, because once you come across that state of consciousness in which you let everything happen and it doesn't feel uncomfortable, it becomes like this just sensitive experience of, you know, you really become like a baby. Baby experiences the world is pretty much before the belief systems. It's all just, you know, joyful goo of sensory sensations and all that stuff. And that's what it's like. You without judgment, you just feel that happening. It's not uncomfortable. Something's happening. Some processes are happening. You like them all, and that's when the thing flowers for itself. From pain, it leads to into love and wisdom. And that's it. You don't need help of anybody. You don't need help of anybody. And of course, sometimes you may feel like you're in this situation, you're in anxiety, and it's like, the instinct is like, okay, the habit is like, okay, let me help somebody, let's call somebody, talk with somebody, or let me go get wasted, let me, all these the different coping methods, go to the therapist, go this, do that, let's do the Reiki healing, or all of that nonsense. Just say no to all of that nonsense. I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna see what happens if I stay with it. You know? And obviously, spoiler alert, that because you haven't been in that state of innocence for a long time, there's a lot of things behind the dam, you know? So things are gonna start coming out, and don't be surprised that you're becoming quite emotional, but not in a negative way. That like it's a relieving type of emotion. That finally it's something that's been blocked starts flowing. You know, and at first it may be like a lot. That's why, you know, it's just the way it is. But it's not bad. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you're like, oh my god. You know, you don't get psychotic. Um, Honestly, you just feel a lot of love, and that makes you have all these negative emotions turn into positive ones, you know, within yourself, without nobody, just you. And if every time a negative emotion pops up, and instead of going out there and doing something, the first you will sit down with it and give it space, let it do what it wants to do, I promise you at some point you're gonna get to do something that like feels like peace, or even joy or relief or whatever. You may cry, you know, you may laugh, whatever. A lot of things may happen, but the fact of the matter that you within like 30 minutes, for example, starting from like going almost psychotic, and in 30 minutes just being with yourself, going to something that is joyful, and then you take action. But if you do this once, look at the power that you have. Look at the power that you have. Dependency on many things starts falling off. Addictions go away. Addictions to psychology. That's the thing, because when the mind is scared, what is the mind? Usually is the belief system, and that belief system is like, well, let me get more information. If I find out more of how it all works, then maybe, you know, I'll rid of it. But no, there's not a lot to find out. Just observe what it is, and it's so simple. There's nothing else to find out. This is why, like, all of my videos is just going to be pointing to that, right? It's just going to be pointing and pointing and pointing until somebody's going to face this, feel it, stay in that thoughtless awareness. Again, it's just a word, but the mind cannot grasp it. Like I said, the exit outside the labyrinth is empty space. But when you're comfortable with just that, the mind, of course, all your belief systems starts dissolving. So it's, people call it an ego death, but it doesn't have to be like something tragic. You see what I'm saying? It's a type of death that, just like a snake shedding its skin, it's normal, it's natural. This is supposed to be. When we just not letting it happen and then trying to resist state, you know, and then pop the pills or whatever, it's like, no, it can't happen. No, you just, if the more you resist it, the harder it's gonna be. But if you just let that death, you know, it's not even a scary word, because death is honestly like that state of innocence, that state of where there's no thoughts, that silence, that stillness is death. You can call it death if you want, but void is just word, but it describes a state. It describes a state where the mind is no longer moving. It's this mind being belief system. It's dissolving. It's dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. All together with that pain, which is not really pain. The belief system made it into a pain. You see what I'm saying? You have pain, then you have to create a belief system as a coping mechanism so not to feel that pain. But if you decide to dissolve that, you start feeling what the pain really is, and you'll be like, what the fuck is this what I was running away from? The most beautiful thing, the jewel, the I don't have words for it, man, but you can be very poetic about it, but man, you just discover who you truly are, yourself, your true self. And you're not nothing, and a lot of people say you're nothing. That's not, at least that's not how I experience it. The stillness, you can experience the stillness, and there's still a point of awareness, so it's almost like you're just like a single jewel point of the awareness in the vast emptiness. That's what you are. You're neither. That's why people say there's no self, you're nothing, whatever. That's nonsense, because you're part of nothing, and then you're part of something. You're something in between. And when you're in that state of something in between, that's like we call it Satchitananda, you know, where it's just like bliss. That's your natural state. But you're not seeking. You see, like, if you try seeking the bliss and running away from pain, then this is just pleasure. That's the thing. The bliss is not pleasure. The ecstasy, bliss, joy, these are all words to describe that when the pain and pleasure merge back together in the infinite state. That's when it's bliss. That's why you don't need to chase bliss. You just need to face what is and let it out. At first it may be, you know, just joyful emotions start coming. You just like feel like you're high, you know, but you're not smoking anything. Sometimes you may feel like, whoa, it's like a little trippy, you know, things are a little bit wobbly, movie, like an LSD. But you're clear, you know, like you're not drugged. you start seeing through things. Then sometimes you have like these waves of blissful joy. It's all there. You see, the drugs is just kind of temporarily obscures the belief system so you can like feel what it's really like when you don't have them. But then at some point you're gonna have to dissolve them, you know, and the only way to dissolve them is with that state. And you may say like, well, how do I get to that state? Just like this. You can trap your own mind, you know, into, it's pretty much like if you're using logic, you can say, well, what's in between of things? Where your mind cannot really compute anymore, you know? When you give an equation for the mind that cannot compute, what it does, it stops. And in that moment, you're outside of the mind. You're like a baby. Everything is new again. And that state heals everything, you know. The point in the circle. I like I like this because it's a symbol. And honestly, like all my videos are going to be just very creative ways of pointing to that thing, right? Because this is the faculty that's missing in the culture, and that's why this culture is a artificial culture, right? There's a pain industry. You need government, you need all these kind of things. But once you're going to start using this faculty, which is what's supposed to do, we're not using logic anymore to fix our emotions, but we're using this the state that we can tune into. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If it's difficult, it's not it. You know, it's actually just like if you start feeling effort, you have to let go. It's another word is surrender, right? But you gotta practice. Like at first, like I shouldn't even say that word practice because it's not the practice. There's no method. Courage and surrender is not a method. It's just there. But just give space to things. And I'm telling you, at first, if you can do it from the anxiety to relaxation, that's the huge victory, you know? Little by little, little by little, it's going to be more and more. And you're gonna be your own drug. This is why people say they're high on life. Not in a way that just pretending to be high in life, you know? Just acting to be high in life. But really, and well, if we go towards this direction, what happens is that the society starts changing, right? Because of course, I mean, all these industries going away. Now what do we do, right? And then we start building something that is more holistic. That this is what when the holistic society is born. It starts with the people. Each single person start going the right direction in their life. And you can call it like a karmic direction, dharmic direction, right? I'm talking about the life must be lived in a dharmic direction if you don't want suffering. And but this system allows the karmic direction also. It allows this, you see? There's a free will. And to get lost. And then find yourself again. You know, some people say that, okay, this is part of the game. You have to get lost, then you find yourself again. You know, like that's the thrill of it. But I question that. I think what would happen if we are born in a society where from the young age it's just this concept is natural. This concept of like you have an emotional pain, stay with it, you know, let it pass, let it process, access your compassion, then take action, you know. It's not a, it's not rocket science. It's just the, instead of building a belief systems before they even form, you find the truth about it, right? There's still an experience. This type of life doesn't, it's not like it doesn't have any problems. Of course, you know, you have problems, you have triggers, but then you deal with it forever. Boom, you move on to the next one. And this is the thing, when you are stuck in the same level 1 game doing over and over again. And the difference when you go towards this dharmic direction, you're progressing. It's much more fun. Everything is new, you know. You fall in love with life and your partner over and over and over again. There's this never-ending, infinite awesomeness that's life supposed to be when we face challenges in the correct way, not using mind, but using our heart, awareness. Again, there's many words to describe it, but and then I don't know, man, like somehow, like even if I'm talking to you now, you may listen to like, well, it sounds really awesome, man, like I want to listen to it more. You can listen to it more if you want, but not because, you know, you don't know of how to do it or how to heal yourself. You can listen to it more if you're just enjoying it for no reason whatsoever, not as a fix, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like music. That's why a lot of times if I listen to somebody, it's because they have good energy. What they say doesn't matter that much. I just enjoy the vibe. But not that I need it, not that I'm looking for it. It's just, you know, when you're enjoying, you're enjoying. Anyway, it worked out to be 40 minutes. That's a long video. Oh well, maybe we'll slice it and dice it. Peace. See you in the next one.